Yo,
Hey, so if you want to split up the slides, we can go through it. You want?
yeah. We'll got to figure out how we want to break these guys up. Um, I will kick it off, and then you're on the 1% slide.
Yep.
I'll let you take that one. I'll do the first two.
Okay.
Do the first. So we'll just maybe do it two at a time. So I'll do the first two.
Okay.
Second two. I'll switch to 5 and 6, and you can
Okay.
do 7, 8. Yeah, that's what we'll do. We'll just go twos all the way
Okay.
through. Cool.
Nice. Do you want me to present the Canva on my side, or what do you want to do?
Good question. Yeah, actually, go ahead. Go ahead, present it, and keep your screen share up the whole time.
Okay.
And then yeah, we'll wait till it starts here to do that. Oh, actually, it's 11, so let's start now.
Okay. So you want me to do you'll just narrate and do your thing, and I'll just go to the next one, stuff like that.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
Cool.
Just tell me when you want to start, and we'll do it.
All right, we're starting.
Okay. So, but I mean the slide deck when you want me to go.
Yeah.
Cool. Nice.
Cool. We'll do a little tiny intro, and then we'll start it up. And then Ina, if you can continue to admit people here.
Sure.
All right. Welcome, guys. Good morning or afternoon, depending on which side of the country you're on. Appreciate you guys as always. Thank you for tuning in. We have an exciting lesson for you today. It's a bit of a continuation on last week's training. As we mentioned, I learned from some very powerful leaders in the real estate space that the training is beneficial when we can do a little bit of recap on last week's training, and then segue that into a new strategy or technique in this training. So just as a quick recap, last week, guys, we talked about how to start a YouTube channel for real estate. And so if you guys missed that one, just let us know. We'll have it all showcased in one place. And a big concept of last week is the idea that we're going to create educational, valuable content for our audience. And we're going to be putting this out on social. In this case, it was YouTube, in order to generate new business, in order to generate leads for free, just our opportunity cost of our time versus pay-per-click and things like that. So the same concept, the same strategy, we're going to now carry into this week's training, guys, which is how to run your TikTok and Instagram Reels channels. And this is the same strategy. It's the same techniques that we're going to be using to fill these channels with valuable content, as we talked about last week. So that's why I mentioned it's a very good segue from last week's content on starting a YouTube channel, because the majority of the work you guys are going to do for YouTube can be repurposed, can be recycled for these other channels as well. So they go hand in hand. And in fact, we're going to encourage you guys to do all of these things. We talked about like which channels you should be investing your time into. Now, it's not going to be every single channel for every single person. However, some of you might be spending more time on YouTube versus other, or more time in Instagram, more time on TikTok. And so that's why we're going to show you guys these strategies for whichever platforms you're most active in or looking to become most active in. We're going to give you guys the best practices and wherewithal to know how to market yourselves and generate leads from these platforms. So we'll have some just opening notes. Hey, Ruben, welcome. Do some housekeeping, and then Rob will have you start the slides.
Yeah. So YouTube is, I think it's one of the ultimate frontiers of branding and of lead generation. YouTube has done wonders for us as a company, and I'm so grateful to have had access to YouTube and just the ability to create original content that ultimately connects with our ideal client profile, that builds trust and that builds our brand and that educates people and gets people to come and actually click on that link in the bio, or to learn about us, or to email us, or pick up the phone and call us. YouTube is something that, we hear this a lot, that people fatigue in YouTube. They start to do their YouTube videos and then they fatigue. They stop doing them. And the reason why I'm qualified to say this is because I've done the same thing. I've tried to stay very consistent with YouTube channels, our work YouTube channel, and then my personal YouTube channel. I would like to just get a quick survey response from folks. How many people actually are consistent on YouTube? If you're consistent, just put consistent in the comments. And if you're not consistent, just, let us know that, but not consistent, because the thing that we'd like to help you to do is to figure out a way to be consistent, because consistency, I think, is the most important thing. You don't have to have a perfect understanding of your ideal client profile from your first video. You don't have to have a perfect format in your first video. You don't have to have perfect lighting or a perfect microphone or a perfect script. None of that is necessary, because ultimately what happens is that with practice, you start to find out what actually works for you. And I think the ultimate thing that we're going to establish in this training today is this idea of what's accessible and what's repeatable. Because if it's not accessible for you, if you have this idea of doing YouTube videos in a green screen room, but you don't have a green screen, it's not going to be consistent. What's the point? And the reason why consistency is so important is because these platforms are designed to generate advertising revenue. And if they find creators that are being consistent with their content creation, they know that this is going to be a consistent source of potential advertising revenue. So they'll give us more exposure, they'll give us more viewership, they will give us more good stuff if we are consistent. So we're going to establish that in this meeting. I'm going to go ahead and take a look at the notes. As always, tell us where you're tuning in from. We'd love to learn about that. What problems are you trying to solve? If there's any challenges that you've dealt with YouTube or with video marketing, we'd love to know about that. That way we can make this workshop as personalized and customized as possible. If we have some Dubb coaches in the house, we'd love to get your links in the chat, because everyone's looking for support. Paige, I saw you in the room. Thank you so much for joining us. So throw your link in the chat. And Darius, I'll pass it to you.
All right.
And was it Rob or?
Yeah, no. Rob, go ahead. We'll start with the slides, and then Ruben, probably move the mic like 1 inch away.
Oh, sorry about that.
There you go. No, it was just barely clipping. So.
Okay, got it. Thanks.
Okay, good. All right, Rob, let's kick off some slides.
All right, Darius, here you go. So first one, here's our title.
Go ahead into presenter mode. Perfect. Guys, in today's session, we're talking about leveraging TikTok and Instagram Reels for real estate. As I mentioned, it's a perfect segue from last week's training, because all the stuff that we taught you last week is applicable to this training as well. It's the same thing. We're producing original content that's going to help us generate leads. And as we mentioned also, there's different platforms. There's the ones you prefer, and that's where we want you to be strengthened, and we want you to be able to market yourself and leverage these platforms that you're spending time in. And the reason we're actually going to recommend Reels versus regular posts or stories or something like that is because Reels have the best engagement on Instagram. Now, if Instagram's not your platform, your TikTok or your YouTube, again, dedicate your focus to those channels. But Reels is specifically going to have better engagement on Instagram versus regular postings. So that's why we're focused there. And also because it's heavily video content. So next one, Rob.
And Darius, I'm gonna do a whole segment here, a little micro segment on how to use YouTube Shorts, because I'm the YouTube guy.
Right. Yeah.
So I'm going all in on YouTube here. So get me on a slide, and I'm going to present that as well.
Got it. And then Ina, maybe add one while we're talking here to this slide, to slide 13 or something, or 12.
Yeah.
So
YouTube Shorts is right in there with Instagram Reels and TikTok. So this is perfect.
And exact. Can't believe we didn't include that in there, because to Ruben's point, YouTube Shorts is exactly the same format and everything, the 916, the short form content as Reels, as TikToks. So this will be a perfect segue, because you can actually fully recycle, just place the same video in multiple places. Now, Ruben touched on this slide a little bit already, is why these social media sites actually need us. They want you to produce content for their channels, but what they're asking, what they want you to do to benefit the algorithm, is to be both consistent with your constancy, right? Like you're doing the same thing every day, every week, you're posting regularly, but also that your content is consistent. Like, it's not one day you're a real estate agent and the next day you're a food buff. It's your channel is dedicated to real estate. So if you have other personal things you'd like to include, probably don't include those in these specific channels, because we want the algorithm to recognize our channel and our content as one specific type. That's how YouTube, that's how TikTok, that's how social medias are going to feed our content to the appropriate audiences, is when they understand who we are and what kind of content we're producing. So these social media sites need us to be active. They want us to be active, You know how many real estate advertising things they would love to show your audience? That's their goal. And so they're trying to help us. We just need to play by their rules. So they want us, they're our friends. We just need to make sure we're playing the game the right way. So consistency is the key here, guys. Posting regularly and posting the same form of content regularly. So as I mentioned, don't be a video game enthusiast and be a real estate agent in the same channel. You can have those two channels separate. That's great. Just don't confuse the algorithm. So, okay, next slide. And then Rob, this one's you.
Yep. All right. So those numbers are pretty big right there. The 1% problem, only 1% of social media users post regular content, 99% just watch it. So obviously when all these platforms, consuming is like the number one thing. Think about how many times a day we scroll through our phones on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, whatever it is, and we're constantly watching. And on the other side, the algorithm is doing its thing. It's okay. What are you viewing? What are you looking at? All that kind of stuff. So from a 1% perspective, posting regularly is something that there is plenty of room to improve on in terms of the numbers. So when you think about yourself in terms of the messaging that you want to get out there, realize that you are dealing with an audience that is already built in, a gigantic audience that is just waiting out there, viewing stuff constantly. So as far as, delivering an audience, that's one thing. There are other things in terms of keywords and all that kind of other stuff that, is a little more complicated and you got to get into that we'll cover at a different date. But in terms of just staying consistent and understanding that the content that you're putting out there, like Darius just mentioned, whether it's specific to what you do, whether it's, in real estate or it's some other side project that you have, playing by the rules of the platform will reward you in a lot of ways. Just understanding those rules of the platform, but understanding the fact that, it's only 1%, post regular content. 1%. That is so low. Now, a lot of the times, we have a lot of challenges in terms of why we can't post, whether it's scheduling, whether it's coming up with ideas, whether it's just, a whole host of reasons. But understanding the math on this should be a complete motivator in terms of really getting yourself to be more consistent. So instead of, being a problem, it's actually a good challenge to have.
And one other thing on this, we had a great question, Peter. Thanks for that. It says, what is regularly defined as? And this will depend upon the channel. So like with YouTube, you can easily set an expectation of videos every week, right? Video once a week. That's considered regularity. Now, on other channels like TikTok and Instagram, they do expect more often than once a week. If you really want to receive the benefit of their algorithm, that's going to be more often on these short form channels. So every day, every other day, a couple times a week, that would be more regular than, once a week on the short form content. So in the stuff we're talking about today, like TikTok, like Instagram Reels, we ideally want to be posting several times a week. So this means, it doesn't have to be every day. Every other day would be nice. 3 times a week would be probably more of a minimum. Whereas with YouTube, the longer form content, once a week is regular there, especially when you set those expectations that videos weekly or something like that. But that's really the difference there. So regularly will depend on the platform itself. Short form more often, longer form less often. I would say weekly is a minimum on YouTube, thrice weekly for short form content. But again, stay consistent. Maybe it's a Monday, Wednesday, Friday thing. Try to stay consistent with that. Weekend posts get great engagement too, guys, by the way. One other topic, here's a pro tip. The pro tip thing's so overused, but pro tip, best times to post on Instagram and TikToks is like 9 a.m. Pacific time. So if you're on the East Coast, that's like 6 a.m. your time, but 9 a.m. Pacific is one of the best times to post content on Instagram and TikTok. So be aware of that posting schedule. And again, post with regularity, whether it's your Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, or your Saturday, Sunday, Wednesdays, or more often than that. But make sure that you're posting at those times to benefit the algorithm. And then also, again, several times a week for short form, like we're focused on today. Okay, next slide.
Whoops, back one. All right, so here, when we talk about consistency, that's probably the number one thing. And to be consistent, you have to be good at a number of different elements in terms of getting the writing together, your ideas, and we're going to cover more of that in a little bit. But when you post regularly, you get rewarded, and a weird thing that we noticed also, Ruben and I noticed this with TikTok in particular. When you're consistently posting, you're getting the flow, you're getting into what you're doing. If you take some time off and you don't post for a while, what TikTok seems to do is kind of give you a little more juice on the post that you're going to have. It almost wants to bring you back into the fold a little bit. Look at these results, start posting more consistently. And it's good in a way because it kind of reminds you of why you need to keep doing this kind of stuff. The short form, like Darius said, 3 times a week, if you can come up with, this is why we're big on repurposing. If you do a long form content and you cut some short minute reels out of that long form, then you're kind of doing a 2-for-1. But the short form content seems really popular because a lot of the times, even when you watch a long form YouTube video, I think one of the main reasons they put chapters in is because you want to know, okay, what's being covered. And sometimes you'll pop to the middle, you like that chapter, you go to there because you want to find out the information pretty quickly. So Reels and on Instagram and YouTube Shorts and TikTok, they deliver information in a very quick manner. A lot of the times you'll see top 3 ways to do this, or the number 1 way you want to be doing this right now. And then they go right into it. A lot of the editing of these videos are as soon as I'm done speaking, boom, I'm speaking again. So it's an understanding that you want the information quickly, you want it accurate, and you want some kind of secret or insight that the video is delivering that maybe isn't delivered in another video. So that's something that's really, really important. That's something we try to do with our short form content, is to deliver the information quickly, have a specific reason for the content, and then almost a how-to. Okay, this is what you should be doing. Here's three quick ways on how to do it. And that's getting right to the point. So to post regularly, and this is something we're going to cover in a couple slides soon, you've got to really be organized in terms of what you want to say, and that will help you get more consistent with what you're doing with posting. But Darius, I think someone had their hand raised.
I was going to say, guys, too, if this sounds familiar, it's because it is. We've repeated many times over to plan your content. By having a content calendar, you're not going to wake up every day saying, what am I doing today? I showed Ira, we're going to show this again. Planning a content calendar will allow you to wake up and have a strategy in place. So by not having that content calendar, this is going to really shortchange yourself in terms of having that consistency, because without a plan, you're just sort of going by the wind, like whatever happens today happens. And that's not going to be a way that's going to set you up for consistency. Anything you do, you need a plan for it. So we'll have some more slides on content calendar as well. Okay, next one. All right, I'll do this one. Objections, right? We have lots of objections here. The first one that a lot of people like, I don't like the way I look in video. And you guys are all here, meaning you've taken that first step of putting yourself on video. So if this is something that you're still uncomfortable with, we understand this discomfort, we deal with it every single day, but we have seen people grow from their shell, out of their, insecurities, and succeed at a really high level. And so we know it's just like any other skill, door knocking or cold calling or whatever it is, we just got to get over that little bit. The other things, people like, I don't see the value in it. And this is easy to see because when you first start posting, maybe you don't generate business right away. Maybe your first post doesn't get you the views and the clicks and stuff that you were hoping for. And that's where the consistency comes in. Nothing happens overnight. And this is not a short-term strategy, guys. This is not a short-term play. This is a long-term strategy. This is building your book of business. This is building your marketing out so that every piece of work that you do is investing into this base that you're going to build. So many of these objections are like, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do, right? Or I didn't have the time. And that's where, again, the content calendar, planning this stuff is going to help overcome 90% of these objections, because you have what you're going to say, you know what you're going to say because you've planned it, you know when you're going to say it because you've planned it, and you're already over the, I don't like how I look in video, or I'm not comfortable on video, because that's a skill that we've been working on for the entire time. So many of these objections are just in our heads. I think the most valid one is that, like, I don't have time. That's for me personally, that's been my biggest challenge, is finding the time to post for my own like personal content, right? So that's where I'm having success, is having a calendar, having a plan. I know on this day, I'm going to post this piece of content. I have it in a draft. I have it ready to go. So by planning, we're going to be able to overcome 90% of the objections we have. If anyone else has any objections, any reason why they're not doing it, we had a couple people in the chat and says that haven't done it consistently. If anyone has any reasons that they want some help with saying, oh, here's the issue that I'm facing, here's the objection or the reason I'm not doing this yet, let us know. We'd love to discuss this a little bit further, help you overcome some of these objections, because there's strategies and techniques to overcome everything. Okay, next one. All right, so this is one of the reasons that we feel those insecurities, guys. This is the main thing that it's hard to articulate. This is the reason why we don't post, but this is a big part of it, is not feeling secure, not feeling like, wow, I feel like I'm gonna do this video, I'm gonna nail it, and it's gonna be great. We don't feel like that often, right? You feel like, man, I'm not sure, I don't know, is this video even worth it? Should I be doing this? Those are the types of things we often tell ourselves before we're putting something out for the world to see. And this comes from not having practice. Because I can tell you, when I started doing videos for Dubb almost 6 years ago, I had all these feelings like, oh man, am I doing this right? What am I doing? Like, what am I going to say? I had all these insecurities and these things. And as I got more consistent in the content we created, I saw the incremental improvements in our business and our bottom line. And that's what kept me motivated. It was not an overnight success. It was a long-term, and it's still 5 years going, long-term play. And what's made this easier for all of us is the practice, the planning, the techniques, the strategies. And these things, again, don't happen overnight. They happen as you practice the motions. So you have to start now. You have to start creating content now, because again, it's an investment. Each building block is going to build upon itself. You get comfortable with being on video, you get comfortable with planning your scripts, you get comfortable with posting, and now all of a sudden, this whole thing, you have much more confidence, you're better at it, and you're getting results from it, which is going to drive your motivation to keep this going further. Now, there's lots of reasons why we have these insecurities. Somebody said something, we experienced something, or whatever it is, but it's kind of a trauma. It's either an insecurity, it's a thing in our own head that's preventing us from feeling better about the content we're producing. And this is sort of a psychological thing, but it's one of those things that it's self-limiting beliefs. And it is only within ourselves that these issues exist. Other people aren't going to see your videos and thinking the same things that you are. We're our own worst critics, and we say, oh, my face looks weird here, or I did this thing. People aren't noticing those things. So most of the stuff you're insecure about is probably a non-starter. It's probably nothing to be worried about. So Ruben, you have a piece in this?
Yeah, this is such an important slide, and I've spent so much time contemplating this exact thing. There's a really good book that I always recommend, which is The 4 Agreements by Don Luis Miguel. Just start with the YouTube video. There's some great YouTube videos, some summaries on it. And the premise is that, at some point in our lives, either as a child or as an adult, someone might have told us something. We don't look good. We don't sound good. We have a face for radio. We shouldn't do this. We're not good at that. And somehow, we decided to, as a survival mechanism, to be accepted by people. We decided to agree with that and to actually hold that as a contract within our minds. And as a result, we didn't practice it. Like if someone said, you have a terrible voice, chances are you're not going to practice because you're not talented, right? And you're not going to practice your voice. And as a result, because you have no practice, you're going to have a terrible voice, because singing requires practice, right? So the same thing applies to being on video and being on social media. This is not about vanity. This is about providing for our families, frankly. And this is about generating content that allows us to connect with our ideal client profile. And this is the most cost-effective way to do it. If you want to get people into your pipeline, meet them on social media, meet them in the real world, or meet them somehow through some sort of a referral. This is a guaranteed engine. It just does require that ability to overcome some of those agreements in our mind. And I promise you, I used to be terrified of public speaking and being on video. But through practicing, doing my 100 videos, just doing those repetitions, I was able to very comfortably overcome that. And still to this day, I still feel it. Sometimes I feel imposter syndrome. Sometimes I feel like I have no idea what I'm saying. This is full of crap. This is not consistent. I don't want to do this. I just want to curl up into a little ball and I just want to be private and lock all the doors. I feel that still to this day. But then I remember my goal in life is to help other people, and that is my purpose. And my purpose requires for me to have a voice and a platform, and social media is that great method to be able to do that. So we're in this together, guys. It's going to overcome, we're going to have to overcome some stuff in our mind, but I promise you repetition is going to get us there. And guess what? At the end of the day, it's all about the results. That's the only reason why we're doing this. If there's anyone in the room that would rather spend $10,000 a month on advertising and marketing versus social media, then maybe you can get out of doing it. But chances are most of us, we don't want this. It's not worth it to go spend that money. Plus, building that brand up, it's the gift that keeps giving. As we build that brand up, we'll just get leads. And if we decide to stop advertising, those leads are not going to stop. If you stop the advertising, the leads stop. With branding and social media and YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok, it doesn't. It keeps going.
And I think too, if you're feeling any kind of anxiety before you're starting to film, or you're feeling any nervousness, one of my favorite basketball players of all time, Ruben, is?
That would be
Larry
Michael
Bird.
Jordan.
Oh, come on. Yeah. Yeah, no, MJ's the best, but LB, right? So his big thing, he would always say, one of the legends of the game, Larry, you nervous before every game? Because I'm nervous right until every game I'm nervous. And then as soon as it starts, start sweating, I start playing, everything's just fine. So I feel like, good.
Larry, my favorite quote from Larry Bird is, you will miss 100% of the shots that you don't take. That's my favorite Larry Bird quote. In fact, it's my favorite quote of all time, probably.
Yeah, no, it's great, but it's accurate for this because, like Darius was saying, and Ruben, you said this too, and same thing here. No one wakes up and is like great on camera. It takes practice, it takes comfortability, it takes repetition. And I think if you're feeling, even though before you hit record, if you're feeling that, okay, all right, here we go, I'm a little nervous, a little anxious, it's totally normal, and then once you start recording, you'll start feeling more comfortable, you'll start sweating, you start getting into it, and you'll be okay. But to have these feelings beforehand, they are there. One of the ironic things that there was a study done out there about when someone's on camera, are they thinking about the other person or are they thinking about themselves? Most of the time they're thinking about themselves. So in an ironic way, the person on the end of the camera isn't even really thinking about you, they're thinking about themselves. So in that terms of, you're worried about being judged or whatever. And the last thing I'll say is, we're living in a time now where authenticity and uniqueness is probably being rewarded more than ever, in terms of like your nuances and of your personality. If you're pausing on camera, or you have a different kind of smile, or maybe you're making a unique point, your movement's a little different. That's all seems to be more rewarded now because of social media. We're seeing more human beings. We're listening to more human beings. There's more of a palette of who people really are. So I feel like that should build up your confidence in terms of really letting the guard down and delivering the message.
Absolutely. Okay, next slide. All right, we've talked about some of these things, guys, and then here's just a slide basically explaining these things again. We need you to let your guard down, let your barriers down, be the person that you are, because again, super guilty of, okay, video time, we got to do this thing. Don't do that. Just be yourself, get as comfortable as you can. Like what's worked well for me is I'll do a take, and then, I've gotten good where sometimes my first take is good, but I'll do another take because I know that I'm going to do a better job the second time. And 90% of the time, the second one's better. But you'll let some of that guard down. You'll let some of the pressure off. So repetition is really key here. And the second part of this is what I was discussing, is that content calendar, the plan, making sure you have an execution strategy, because when you do not, you will fail. I can promise you that. If you don't have a plan, you don't have a strategy, you don't have a calendar, we're not going to succeed. So this planning is absolutely critical. Just really quick, take a pause here, guys. Do you have a plan? Do you have a strategy? Right now, do you have anything in place to take advantage of what's at our fingertips? YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. If you do not currently have a strategy, this is your calling card. This is your moment to take this opportunity and create one. We're going to give you guys a couple more steps here about how to create this calendar, but having a plan, having a strategy is paramount to your success here. This, again, cannot be stressed enough. If you have a document, just like a spreadsheet, something very simple, whatever works for you. You have to have a plan, day 1, day 2, day 5. Without this, again, you're setting yourself up for failure. So, and then the consistency, again, if you've made a plan for 1 week, then what do you do next Monday? Next Monday, you make the plan for next week. So having a plan, staying consistent with it. It sounds really simple. In execution, sometimes it's a little bit harder, right? Having a good plan, sticking to it, but these are the keys to success. And without them, there's no hope for the future. So not to sound dismal there, guys, but if you don't have a plan, now's the time. Okay, next slide. All right, talking about plans. I'll kick this one off and you guys can chime in here. I actually have 2 little IRAs there. One is, it's a prompt. It says something simple. As a real estate agent, what are 20 ideas for videos I should create for a YouTube channel to get more clients? And in this case, you could replace YouTube with TikTok or Instagram Reels. And it's going to give you 10 topics. It's going to give you 20 topics, whatever you ask for, it's going to deliver this to you. And you can see in the second prompt, maybe that's too small to actually see, but it said, as a real estate agent in Florida, what are 20 ideas for videos I should create to get more retiree clients? So you can see it just gets more specific. So if you understand your ICP, your ideal customer, you understand who your audience is and who you are. You're a listing agent, you're a buyer's agent, you're a international agent, you're a luxury agent. Understanding who you are, who your ideal audience is, and then using IRA to make your plan. It is as simple as that. Look, you got your next 20 topics right there from a single prompt. One prompt gave you 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month worth of content or more. Like if it's once a week on YouTube, that's 20 weeks. That's half a year of content. And then we're going to be able to repurpose each of these bullets, which I'll explain for you in a moment. Once you've created a form of content, you can repurpose this. We've said this in every training we talk about as well, guys, is the cascade method, the waterfall method, whatever terminology you want to use. But the idea is you're taking one piece of content and now it's going to be shareable across all of these platforms. YouTube Shorts, TikTok, Instagram Reels, they're all about 1 minute. Now, they might have a little bit longer lengths. You can do 90 seconds or something like that, but 1 minute is a pretty good target for these short form videos. And at 1 minute, you can really pack a lot of information into a short video and be able to produce this content. It can even be, like Rob mentioned, a clip of your longer form. So if you did last week's training, you produced a YouTube video, maybe one of these tips, a neighborhood tour, you're showing a neighborhood tour, and that's a 10-minute video, 5-minute video, and you take a 1 minute interesting clip, maybe it's the intro, and that becomes your YouTube short. That becomes your Instagram reel. That becomes your TikTok video. So the way the system works with IRA, with your content calendar, is it's all going to feed into itself. So whether you're using one channel or multiple, like we're recommending, we do recommend multiple channels, guys. So your Instagram, your YouTube, or all 3, even TikTok, because like I have found that it's very easy to repurpose content across all these channels, because you're literally taking the same exact 1 minute video and uploading them to those 3 platforms, to Instagram, TikTok, Shorts. So the work that we're doing, the skills that we're developing, none of this is wasted. It's all going to the benefit of ourselves and our business and our existence online, right? Our marketing. So each piece of content is not only evergreen, this is going to exist forever. Like Ruben said, when you turn the ads off, people stop seeing them. That's not the case with social. Every piece of content is evergreen. Every piece of content is recyclable, meaning you can put it on all the different platforms to benefit the algorithms there. So this work is never wasted. It's also going to benefit you of getting the practice in, getting your reps in. So again, the whole system is designed to benefit you and build upon your building blocks. So skill 1 is getting comfortable on video. Skill 2 is being able to use the AI to generate content ideas. And then skill 3 is actually posting to these social platforms. And then skill 4 is building it with consistency. So once you have each of those skills mastered, the next one becomes easier. Because once you're good at videos, using Ira is easy. Once you're good at content calendar planning, creating your content's easier. Once you've mastered posting, the entire process is now comfortable and you've learned it and you've done it. And it's going to be that much easier each time you perform these repetitions. So Ira has made our lives, whatever AI has made our lives so much easier for content like this. No longer do you need to sit there and use your imagination on what do people want to see? What should I do? We have the answers right here. We have a very smart AI to tell us what we should be doing. If anyone has questions on what sort of prompt they should ask, you can see I have two examples there. One's very generic. As a real estate agent, what should I do? Or as a Florida real estate agent looking for retiree clients, what should I do? If anyone wants help with the prompt of what they should do to plan their content calendar, let us know. Drop it in the chat. This is, again, critical step here, guys. We need a plan. We need a calendar. We need a strategy. What are we saying? And this is what's going to help you do that. Well, you can see Ruben has actually got a couple prompts here that we've added. Write a script for Facebook, write a script for Instagram, or you could even just leave it blank and tell it exactly what you want. The point is this guy is at your fingertips in the same tool. You can directly take your prompt. You get one of the 20 prompts that it says, here, give me 20 ideas for a video. Gives you one idea. Then you put the idea back in. Write me a script for this idea. Then you have the script. Now you're able to record. And then you're going to take the recording and you're going to post that to YouTube for the long form. And then you're going to cut it, a 1-minute clip. And that's going to feed the other 3 channels, TikTok, Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts. So again, every bit of work that you guys do, every single rep, every video that you try to record, even if it's a failure, you have to discard it. It's not wasted because you're developing a skill. You're building your ability to do this. It's just like working out, guys. When you go to work out the first time and your endurance is terrible, right? You can only, you can barely run a mile or walk a mile, or you can only do so many reps. And as every rep that you perform, every video you record is going to increase that endurance, is going to increase that strength, that muscle, the ability to perform these types of tasks. So every single rep counts, guys. Nothing is wasted here. So
yeah, I was gonna say, if you guys noticed while I was sharing my screen, we have a pretty robust search engine now through Ira, and if you just enter what you're doing, throw in TikTok in there, throw in Instagram. We have prompts for these, and we can actually add these prompts. This is one of the things that we're receiving feedback on. So if there's something that you want us to add a prompt for, let us know and we'll add it on the back end. This is an evolving platform. We decided to keep our parameters for our AI engine to be the task, which is the prompt, the industry, the topic, the target length, and the tone. We encourage you to use these. In fact, I use humorous, and sometimes I even use sarcastic, and it's pretty funny. I mean, it's not disrespectful. Sometimes it's kind of just tongue in cheek, or it's a little pokey, it's a little fun. It's actually good. It actually seems more human when we give it these very real, tone parameters. So I just recommend that you guys use this for both planning, for scripting, and eventually for publishing with the captions and the descriptions and titles and things. It's very powerful. We use it every single day, probably 20 to 30 times per day.
good.
Ruben, I got your slide for you. If you
Oh,
yeah,
great.
Actually, that was the repurposing slide. I want to talk about that for a moment,
Yeah.
because
Okay.
while in concept, it seems very, very simple, right? Take a clip from a video. But if you guys are having any questions on that, like how do I repurpose a video? How do I take a 1-minute clip from my 10-minute YouTube video? Does anyone have that question? Because that's what the next slide is, guys, is repurposing. That is the methodology where nothing's going to be wasted, where your failed videos are your repetitions and you're getting better, and your successful videos are a feeder that are going to feed into your other channels. So again, from a high level, it sounds easy, but I want to make sure, does anyone have questions on how they would actually go about this? How they're going to extract a 1-minute video from their 10-minute video? Does anyone have questions on the actual methodology they would do for that? Because again, if you don't have a strategy, how are we going to accomplish this? Does everyone feel comfortable with taking a 1-minute clip from their 10-minute video and posting that? because there's a million ways to do this, right? There's literally 1,000 ways that you can take a clip from a video. So whether it's on your mobile and you're using the Dubb app to trim and to download, or you're using another app like an iMovie or CapCut is one of my recent favorites. There's, again, lots of applications to perform these edits, but you guys have to have a tool in place. You have to have understanding of how to use the tool to trim your video and then to download it. So again, this is a strategy and ability that you guys need to have. So if anyone needs help editing videos, let us know, because we're thinking about hosting another training showing specifically how to use some free apps for some video editing. So if anyone would like how to repurpose content, I think this is a great training. I'm not seeing any hands, but is everyone super comfortable with repurposing content? Is anyone need
No,
with that?
I'm not.
Okay.
No.
Got it.
No, I'd love to see a class on this.
All right, so let me give you my very quick class on repurposing content. So there's this sliding scale that I think about when it comes to, you know, posting on social media, posting on YouTube channels. And on one side of this sliding scale is I'm going to self-publish. I'm going to self-record. I'm going to write my content. I'm going to publish this stuff. I've got the time. I've got the interest. I have no problem staying consistent. And that's me. Okay. So call it the self-reliant social media poster. And then on the other side of the spectrum is I have zero time to do anything on social media. Okay. So I would just love to get a little bit of feedback. If you are a 10, which means you will do all the work to record and publish your content on social media, put a 10 in the comments. And if you're a 1, that means you don't want to spend any additional time from your schedule posting to social media. The great thing about this is that there's a method for everyone in between 1 and 10. And this is like the unlock, the ultimate unlock. Okay. So I see some 1s, I see a 10, I see an 8. Great. Let's talk. Let's address this for everyone. Okay. So I'm going to start with the 1, which means I have no time to spend doing anything for social media. That's YouTube, that's TikTok, that's Instagram, that's Facebook, nothing. Okay. The way that I recommend to repurpose your content is to do the things that you're already doing. You're meeting with people, you're doing open houses, you're recording video tours, you're recording messages, you know, record everything. Every time you have a conversation with someone, become that trusted advisor, become that consultant, and always be providing information. And then record that. And that's a long form video, right? Get the upgraded plan on Zoom where you have the cloud storage, you know, or save it locally. Doing it on the cloud means you can now delegate it. So if you have a calendar that you have, let's say 3 meetings per month, all of a sudden what you can do is you can delegate this to someone else, and you can say, I had 3 meetings today. You might not even actually have to tell them that you had any meetings. This might be a completely automated process. And what that editor, specifically a video editor or social media manager, can go and extract certain clips. They can take 60-second clips, let's say, of a meeting that you had, or something that you recorded, a presentation that you gave, a talk that you delivered. You can actually repurpose that into a 60-second short, or an Instagram or Facebook or a TikTok, whatever you want. And then for long form content, which is pretty much only YouTube these days, is that video can then get cut down into something that's maybe 4 to 10 minutes, and it could get published with a title, a description, with some tags, you know, a link in the description. You don't even have to know about it. There's no approvals here. It's completely delegated. I think that Tim Ferriss talks about this model in the 4-hour work week a little bit, which is delegating, working with people overseas if you want to save money, and just trusting it. It's not going to be perfect. You might have to get involved in the beginning to help build your voice, but that's effectively a way to not have to do anything when it comes to social media. All you have to do is click record constantly. Like everything you do, just record it. Like we're recording this Zoom meeting. Guess what we're going to do with this? It's going to get repurposed. We're not going to know about it. Caleb from our team is going to cut this and he's going to put it on social media, and it's going to help us. You know, we've acquired, for a software company, you know, we're shy of 5,000 subscribers, and you know, we want that to be 50,000, and we're going to get that. But it took time. We had to put in an effort in to get our almost 5,000 subscribers. With our other channel, I think we're almost up to 6 now. And that is a modest number, but it's a highly targeted number on only people that really use our software. So targeting is massively important when it comes to this, because we would much rather have 10,000 subscribers of people in our ideal client audience as opposed to 100,000, which is just random people all over the globe, right? So that's one, okay? Click record and delegate and have someone else do the posting for you, okay? Now let's go somewhere in the middle, which is like 5. 5 is, we love the idea of batch recording. In fact, you can go to any of these apps and you can record a video and then it'll get saved in your drafts folder. So the method that we always recommend is we like the TikTok editor the best. It's the best editor pretty much on the internet, on any app. We've never seen anything better than it. CapCut, which is owned by the TikTok parent company, it's a very similar product. It's super easy to use. Guess what? You don't need to edit your videos. We've done so much research on this and we've done so much testing. Videos that get edited versus videos that don't get edited, there's no guarantee that you're going to get lift. It all comes down to the story, how well you're connected to your ideal client profile, how educational you are as opposed to being salesy, and how you're creating this connection loop. People watch their content, they learn, they come back from you, they subscribe, they share, they comment. Connection loop is the name of our podcast. We talk about this idea, creating that loop with people, that relationship, that parasocial relationship is the most important thing, more so than editing. If you want to edit, that's cool. Sometimes you have to. But the idea here is to batch record your content. Spend an afternoon, spend a Friday, record 30 videos, and then delegate that to someone to actually do the posting, to add the captions, the titles, the descriptions, the hashtags, and then get into a flow, right? Every day there should be something on all the channels. I mean, why not? The one caveat that I will say here is that all of these social platforms and technology platforms like it when you use some of their native tools like music or text overlay or a little text to voice. Just try to use at least some of the technology, because you will get more lift if you use the native tech. We've heard that 1,000 times now, and in fact we've seen it to be true. So don't just take a raw file and just upload it. Try to put something in it, a graphic, a text, some music, something very simple. It only takes a couple of seconds, but the key is delegation. And then 10, which is you're self-reliant, you're self-publishing. You probably don't need my advice. In fact, I should probably get the advice from you. But the premise here is you're going to record content, you're going to do all your captions, you're going to stay consistent, you're going to publish it, you're going to schedule, you're going to just make this part of your life. And you're probably going to spend 30 minutes to 60 minutes per day doing this. And guess what? You're probably going to see great results. Final comment, we've seen people get amazing results from 1 to 10. So this is actually not about how much time you spend into this. It's how well you plan this and how well you can delegate this.
Good. And it sounds like we'll do an extended technical training on repurposing as well. We'll show you guys, because it's possible on the Dubb app. It's possible with the editors Ruben's mentioned, like CapCut or iMovie. Lots of free editors to be able to extract a clip. And then, as Ruben also mentioned, these platforms have their own little editing tools where you can add a music or a sticker or something from that platform itself. So we will cover a technical repurposing training. That's great. So very good. Okay, good. So we have another lesson planned for you guys. Maybe just next week's even we'll do a continuation. So let's jump back in. Rob, I think we were just on the slide of repurposing for YouTube Shorts. So That is one of the topics that we didn't put in the title slide, and we decided to add in here because these are all three very related. YouTube Shorts, TikTok, and Instagram Reels are the same form of very short form content. And you can use the same exact clip, the 1-minute clip you're going to extract on all of these channels. Now, that's not the only thing you can do. Like, you don't have to just do a long form and take a piece of it. That's not the only way to feed these things. You can just do little bite-sized videos. Like, it's just a 9:16 video designed for these short platforms like Instagram Reels, Shorts, and TikTok. If you create a single form of short form video, 1-minute video around there, this I recommend putting it on all the channels. If you're never going to go on TikTok, then probably don't do that, right? It's just something you're never, ever going to do. However, I do recommend trying all these channels out because it's probably like 1-2 minutes at most to actually repurpose the content on these 3 different channels. So you have your TikTok, your Instagram, and your YouTube Shorts, have it on your app, have it on your desktop, and you take the same piece of video, upload, copy and paste the description, copy and paste hashtags. Literally, you can feed all your social channels within like 10 minutes, less, maybe 6 minutes. You can post the same piece of content to all of these channels. So as I mentioned earlier, nothing is wasted. It's all recyclable, and it's going to continue to benefit you to have growth across all channels. The other thing is these channels can actually feed into each other because you never know which one's going to be more successful. In fact, like for my own personal stuff, I've had a lot greater traction on Facebook than I have had on other channels. So I post to Facebook, to Instagram, to TikTok, and finding better traction on one of those platforms. What I do now is I direct the traffic from that platform, like Facebook in this case, to follow me on Instagram. So now I'm using each of the channels to build up your following on your other channels. So again, the concept of not wasting your efforts, not wasting your time, comes back down to this as well. So once you produce a piece of content, I said that wrong. Once you've produced a piece of content, it is now ready to be recycled across all of these platforms. And at this point, because you guys are just getting started, if you're just getting started, I recommend investing into each of the channels. It's not more than 2 minutes of your time for each additional investment. And that way you're going to find where your best traction is, where you're getting your best clients from. And it increases your likelihood of being seen by putting the content on these different channels. Some people are on TikTok and you'll capture them. Some people are on Instagram and you'll capture them. And then finally, YouTube as well. Okay.
And I just shared an example of what a repurposed video looks like. And this video is actually a video that was from a video podcast that I was on. And Caleb from our team, Caleb, if you're watching this, thank you so much for what you do. He actually cut this clip out where I sound kind of half intelligent, and it got over 2K views, and that's really exciting. That's really nice because it could get to 20K. I don't know. You never really know. It's about the consistency. And remember, there's a link in our bio, so that's where we generate our leads. That's the whole purpose of this. The purpose is results. So take a peek on that and consider following me.
Absolutely. Okie dokie. All right, this one's on me, guys. Best practices. So I've now described how it's so easy to take this one piece of content you created. Either it's an excerpt from your long form, like the YouTube training, or it's a specific short that you've created. Just like we did on the other trainings, there's some best practices. The link in the bio, this is a term that's been thrown around. What it just means is that there's a link somewhere in your platform. Like if it's in YouTube, it's in your description, it's in the video description. If it's in TikTok, it's in the comments. If it's in Instagram Reels, it's in the comments. And it's also in your bio link. And so the link in bio is just referring to how they can take the next steps. So the clear CTAs, that's the bullet 2, clear calls to action, that's in the actual video itself. Every video needs to have a clear call to action. So at the end of your video, your 1 minute short, you say, hey guys, I got 3 quick tips to increase your home's value. So when you're ready to sell, it'll sell for the most possible. Tip number 1, tip number 2, tip number 3. If you'd like more tips on how to increase your home's value, contact me below. Happy to discuss with you. So that's a clear call to action at the end of your content. Every piece of content needs this clear call to action. Having the link in the bio can sometimes be that call to action. So you say, check out the link in the bio, check out the link in the description. I'll connect with you there. And that's a link to your calendar, to your Dubb video page, where they can contact you, book a time, whatever your preferred method of contact is. So link in bios, clear CTAs on every single post. And then the consistency, again, can't understate the benefit of that, because this is both the benefit of the algorithm and of the viewers. When people know that you're going to post something consistently that's valuable insight, they're going to subscribe, they're going to follow, because they want more of this information. And when you post consistently, the platforms are going to show your content to more people because it's consistent, and they can rely on you and know that we're going to be able to put advertising dollars on these people's channels because of their consistency. So link in bio, clear CTA, Stay consistent, meaning we need regular posting. And this last one, this is specific for YouTube, but also other platforms. You need to actually monitor these things. When people are on YouTube, they're searching for answers. They are in the middle of their home buying or selling journey, and responding to their comments is of the utmost importance. It's like someone left you a voicemail and you didn't respond. So you can't just set these channels and forget them, right? Oh, I just posted, I'm never going to come back. If you're eliciting responses and comments, we need to be highly engaged in these platforms. So the applications do a really good job of notifying you. Someone commented on your post, so just pay attention to those notifications and respond to them as quickly as possible. If you've got haters, everyone's got haters, respond to those comments, tell a joke, make it funny, because then that is going to increase the engagement on your videos. Believe it or not, not all, it doesn't have to be positive engagement for the algorithm to benefit you. In fact, it can't tell the difference. So if you got 3 hater comments and you're responding to the hater comments, and then that's going to benefit the algorithm. So responding to every single comment is absolutely critical to keep this engine rolling, because if you're posting content, you're receiving comments, that's leaving leads on the table, and it's leaving the algorithm benefit on the table, because when you're responding quickly, the platforms recognize this, that you're an active creator and that you're engaged with your audience. So again, responding to all comments is absolutely key to keep the engagement up on your content. So those are some general best practices. I went quickly on those, but they are absolutely critical, guys. Every single piece of content needs to have those elements. Clear CTA, have your page set up for success, and then make sure you're responding to your comments. So, all right. Well, that's it for the presentation, guys. Let's go ahead and open it up for some Q&A. I know we did get a couple of votes, at least one out loud, that says we can use repurposing instructions, and we're happy to show you this. We'll put together a training showing you specifically, technically, how to repurpose your content using some free applications and stuff that's right at your guys' fingertips. So that'll be an upcoming training. Okay, questions, guys. Anything about what we showed today? Repurposing, setting up YouTube, setting up Instagram, Ira. Any questions on anything?
We'd also like to know what are some additional future trainings that you guys would like to receive in these workshops every Thursday at 11 a.m. Pacific. So if you have any suggestions for us, throw them in the comments. And we're sort of building our own content calendar, taking our own advice. Yeah. And as you guys know, we always publish these on YouTube. So we will send this link shortly after this.
And then also, if you guys want to come to support@dubb.com, please come submit your trainings there as well, or your training suggestions there. So everyone in Medium support, I'm going to put the email there, support@dubb.com. That goes straight to our chat support, and our team will see it in a short order. So if you guys have ideas for future trainings, we'd love to hear them. And okay, we got a question in there, and then Peter, your hand's up, my friend. Go ahead.
Yeah, hey guys, thanks. Just question for you. I know that we have the ability to do like a bio video with Dubb and kind of have that in our signature if we're a subscriber. I think it would be great to have a video to kind of, I don't know, like maybe an explainer on how to build that bio video or what should be included in that, because I think that could be a useful tool. I did one a long time ago. But I've had some kids since then, and so it's out of date. So I need to do a new one, So
get the family in there, man.
Something.
Absolutely. So actually, Ina, if you could put the link to the bio link support article in the chat, that's a good place to start. It'll just sort of discuss what the bio link is and how to set it up. So the bio link feature, guys, is designed for exactly what we're talking about. It's for the link in bio. So there's a common thing on Instagram people use called a link tree, which is like one link that leads to a little page with multiple options. And that's essentially exactly what the bio link is. So right here on the dashboard, guys, bio link. You can see I click mine, it takes you to a video page where here's my greeting. I'll have my calls to action and stuff beneath it. So this is the bio link that he's referring to. And the video here, that should be your greeting to people, because this is going to be their first meeting of you other than the video that they just saw, right? They saw something of you on social, and that's how they got to this point. And so acknowledge where your audience is at. Say, hey guys, thanks so much for engaging with my content. I'm glad you found some value in it. If you want more information, contact me below, and you'll have your calendar, your phone numbers, whatever makes your social handles. You know, I don't have any of my socials here, but you have those things available for people to engage with. So understanding, again, where the audience is coming from, where they're going to visit this bio link page, that's going to help you best determine the message that's being shared on that video.
And I'll actually stick around and I'll show you how to build the bio link. We do have a tutorial, but I'll give you some one-on-one. I'm going to talk about how to build the bio link, how to repurpose, and then also how to find a virtual assistant. So if anyone wants to stick around, we're going to wrap this in just 1 minute here. I'll show some stuff. And keep putting suggestions in, because that's how we fuel our content calendar.
Absolutely. Alexandra had a good question. How can I choose the name for my YouTube channel? So
Love that.
After you create your YouTube channel,
Yeah,
you go into the settings of the channel, and there's some rule where you can only change the name of the channel like every 24 or 48 hours or once a week or something. I can't remember the time. You can't just change it every day all the time. There is some specific rule set there. But in your YouTube studio settings is where you can designate your YouTube handle as well as your channel name. So that's usually when you go about creating the channel, Alexandra. There's a place to upload your banner image, select your handle, and your channel name. So those will all be in the same creation menu in the studio of YouTube.
and if you take a look at my screen here, you'll actually see that we have a prompt for suggest a name for YouTube show. So we've thought of this, you know, just put your context in and put your parameters, your tone, and your target length. I think it's pretty good. You can change it a couple of times, but make sure you don't change it too many times, because you do get blocked in terms of not being able to do that. You mentioned that. Yeah.
I really like this one, Pete. Thank you. I think this is absolutely a valuable training. The other Pete F. Using Dubb as your primary CRM. Many real estate agents here do not have a current CRM because Dubb is a perfect plug for your non-CRM needs. So if you don't have a CRM, Dubb is a CRM, and Dubb will cover all these things. So Pete F, I appreciate that as a suggestion. I believe we will definitely do that as a training, because I know countless real estate agents that I've spoken to are sort of not using a CRM, or they're using 3 CRMs, or they're just sort of all over the place with the CRM. And so we would love to show you guys how to use Dubb as your primary CRM. So that's an absolutely great suggestion, Pete. Thanks.
Another thing that we also want to recommend is that if you do have an assistant, if there's someone on your team that can help you with marketing, help you with social media, give them your login to Dubb. You don't need to go and we don't have a new rule where every single person has to have their own account on Dubb. Like some companies do that, they have an IP address, and that's not what we're doing right now. So, I mean, that could change in the future, but we have no plans at this moment. So we suggest giving your account to someone on your team so that they can go help manage it for you. What that means is they can go build your bio link. They can go build your evergreen videos. They can go take the videos that you've recorded on the Dubb mobile app and then put those on social media. Send your assistants and send your social media folks to our trainings, you know, every day, 10 a.m. Pacific, dubb.com/T as in training. Send them there with specific tasks on how they can help you. And we'll actually train them, because why not have someone on your team help you with your social media and help you to craft your bio link and help you to create your evergreen videos and so many other things that you can do. So, you know, bring them. We're here to support. There's no shortage here. We're all here to win. There's so much sunshine here.
Good. And yeah, I like Barry said that tip on how to find a good VA.
Yeah.
Should we do a whole piece on that? I'm sure we
Let's do a whole thing on that.
Yeah,
That's such a good idea.
Come up with a half hour of solid content on how to get a good VA. So
yeah.
Awesome. All right. We got cool. our content calendar with the
nice
audience here. So
the comments is where you build your content calendar. That is a pro tip. I know pro tips are overused, but that is a pro tip. Go look in the comments, and that's what people want to see. Give them that, because chances are they're expecting it, and you definitely have a guaranteed at least one viewer, whoever left the comment.
Right. I am one of those people. I go to the comment section every single time. If there's at least one comment, I go to the comment section and I read the comments.
Yeah,
so
same.
I'm one of those people. And so there's lots of those people out there. And that's why I was mentioned, make sure you answer the comments, make sure you're active in your stuff. So
yeah,
more pro tips, Brooks says.
Well, my last pro tip is Open up the Dubb mobile app, take a Friday, take 1 hour, record 20 videos, and delegate someone to do your social media. And that's the presentation for today.
Yeah.
You go sell real estate. You go sell real estate.
Yes. Go sell something. Yeah. Good, guys. All right. Well, we're just a little bit over. Appreciate you guys as always. We got some good trainings coming up in the next couple weeks, thanks to your guys' help. So
Yeah.
appreciate you guys. Happy Thursday.
I'm going to stick around. I'm going to do BioLink, virtual assistant, and one more thing, which I don't remember.
All right. Go ahead. See you guys. We're still sticking around.
Repurposing.
So, okay.
Yeah. Cool. So I'm going to open it up now for specific questions. I like to stick around at the end, and but I need brave souls. So you got to unmute, you got to turn your camera on if you'd like, and ask me questions. I'm going to do a demo real quick on how I develop my BioLink. If Paige is still in the room, Paige, love to have you hang out as well. Paige is a pro Dubb coach. She's just an awesome human being. Her website is kismetideas.com. So check that out. All right. So any specific questions? I just want to open it up right now.
So I asked it initially. So is this just a brief, is the idea a brief bio, or is it like a more longer form, like, hey, this is, you know, like the romantic video with all the shots and, you know, that kind of a thing. So I guess that would be my first question.
We're generally speaking, we're sort of anti-romantic videos just because we don't, unfortunately, we don't see a lot of lift when we do. We've spent so much, we have like 4 editors on our staff. And the running joke is, and we say this mindfully and empathetically, but the running joke is that generally speaking, we haven't seen lift when we add editing to videos versus when we don't. And we do it because it's a brand thing. And, you know, sometimes it's for brevity, like there's a 60-minute video that we need to turn into a 10-minute video. So there's very specific tactical reasons why we do it. However, for BioLink videos, for social media videos, we haven't really noticed much of it. It's very interesting, actually, right? So, but let me quickly show you what that looks like. So I'll just share my screen and provide some context. So if I just go to my Instagram page, you'll notice that this link right here is my bio link. Okay. So this was a video, and I actually have to update this video because this is a total pandemic video where I was working in my garage. And, you know, it's a single video that's recorded. I'll click play. Hopefully the audio works.
Hey, it's Ruben. Thanks so much for coming to my social profile. It's so good to connect with you. Please connect with me on some of these channels. Just click on the links below. See ya.
Super chill, you know, no big deal. I'll probably redo this one, but my call to actions are get a free trial, become a Dubb partner. Those are my big ones. And then I have all my other social channels here. Okay. So that's what a BioLink video is. So, you know, this is very similar to Linktree. Linktree is probably one of the most popular ones. There's a bunch of these free services. They're heavily branded. You know, sometimes they're not ideal. We like ours because it has a video and has specific calls to action, because, you know, it's nice to get other people to come to our social channels and then go to our other social channels. But really what we want is for them to build that parasocial relationship with us and then actually say, hey, you know what? I actually want to go and book a time with this person. I want to go and pick up the phone or send them an email. Because, you know, we have this is a high ticket thing that we're selling. You know, real estate services are high ticket. So we need to get lead gen. So does that answer the question? I'm going to just quickly show you how to do that. So the first thing you're going to want to do is to go on your dashboard. You want to go to the BioLink section. Okay, here you'll notice there's a cogwheel. In this cogwheel, the first thing that you can do is you can search for a video that you've recorded. So it could be like, hi, I'm Ruben. Thank you for connecting with me on social media. Here's a couple of links below if you'd like to learn more or potentially work with me. You know, thank you so much, and see you at the next video. So it's a generic script. You can make it your own. You can use Ira to help you with that script. No matter what, just select that video. Give it a good title, like Ruben's BioLink video. Select that video, and then add your social media handles. So you'll notice, just, you know, put your names in there. I think this one is actually outdated. I should update that. And then now I've got my video and I've got my social handles, and then that's updated. Now, the great thing now is that once I've configured that, I now have a totally specific URL, dubb.com/RubenDoIt, where if I click on that, you'll notice it's that video with those calls to action and then my social media links, okay? This link is a perfect link to use in your social media because you can direct people to your sales machine, because you need to pull people off social and get them into your sales machine, because without that, you won't have results. And without results, you won't have consistency, and it will all just sort of fall apart. So you need to have a sales mechanism. A lot of people, we never say to be salesy in your social media videos. That's not a good practice. But what we do say is if people do click on your bio link, why not give them a chance to actually connect with you and book a time in your calendar or fill out a form or pick up the phone? You know, that's how we're going to monetize this whole effort, you know? So this URL, you can now place it on Instagram, on YouTube, on Twitter, on Facebook, whatever you'd like. Just make sure you put it in the bio link section and put a little bit of a descriptor about you. Some call me the video sales guy. Others call me a musician, CEO of Dubb. Watch my intro video here. That's my bio. You can make your own. I hope that helps. All right. Any other questions while I'm here? We talked about repurposing, so I will mention that there are two services that I like the best for sorry, let me take a step back. For virtual assistants, there are two services that we like the best. Number one is Upwork, and number two is Fiverr. The key with a virtual assistant, in my opinion, is to find someone that commits to you. Virtual assistant is that terminology, in my opinion, is a little bit antiquated because we're all virtual now, right? This is like a social media manager. This is a partner. This is someone to assist you in your job, right? So Upwork and Fiverr are great places to recruit people, but at some point you need to recruit them to be part of your team. You need to pay them every single month or twice a month on, via PayPal or one of those services. So I would consider trying to recruit someone over there, but eventually you have to make them part of your team, because at some point you don't want to use those platforms to be able to chat with them, because every time you have a task or if you have an update, you'll have to send a message. It's better to get them into a Slack or an email or Microsoft Teams or Skype or Zoom. I think has a product for you to be able to chat with people. So I think it's important to eventually bring them into your world. So that's my best advice on hiring a virtual assistant. And then I think the last thing that we were going to talk about was repurposing. Any questions, any comments? Anyone want to unmute? Okay, so I think my final piece is now repurposing. So I think to unpack this idea of repurposing, what we talked about is to have long form videos where someone else sort of cuts those videos into short form videos and then publishes those on your social channels. So that's probably the most classic form of repurposing. You probably need an assistant to help you with this. There are some services that will use AI to go and cut micro clips out of your long form videos. I found one called, I think it was Video, Videyo, something, I don't recall the name. I wasn't terribly impressed with that because it just sort of grabbed a bunch of random clips, and I don't think they were intentional. I don't think there was a true story in any of them. I think it just used some algorithm to figure out where does it speaking occur and where does it end, and then cut out all the gaps in between and then export a 60-second video. But the content actually wasn't very good. So that's why I like having, a curated method where someone can actually go in, hear those pro tips, and then download them and cut them and then repurpose them. So that's the first thing, taking a long form video and then cutting it. The second thing is we do this all the time, and it's one of my best methods, which is to open up the Dubb mobile app, record your video, use the teleprompter. If you don't know what to say, you can record your screen on the Dubb mobile app, or you can record your face. You can also do a virtual background, which means you can take a snapshot of an article or a real estate listing, whatever it is that you like to do, put that virtual background behind you, and then you can actually speak in front of it. And just do that in an afternoon. Do it 20 to 30 times. And if you actually sit down and are intentional about recording these videos, that's literally your entire month of content for social media. just make sure that the person on your team goes and trims them or cuts them or adds some native, maybe some music, maybe a text overlay, something to kind of make it specific to the platform. Captions are important, hashtags are important, titles are important. These things we have to put some time into. But that's a great way to sort of repurpose this one video that you recorded and then waterfall or cascade it to YouTube Shorts and Instagram Reels, TikTok, Facebook, even Twitter if you want, wherever your platform is, even LinkedIn. That's another one. So that's all I got, folks. If anyone wants to unmute, I'm here. Otherwise, I'm going to wrap this. All of this was recorded. We will be publishing this. So I'll just give sort of a 10-second counter and then I'm out. All right, here we go. Last chance. 3, 2, 1. Thank you guys so much for being the best part of Dubb. We really appreciate you guys. Come to our trainings, dubb.com/T as in trainings. Come to our Thursday meetings for real estate. That's our growth workshop at 11 a.m. And we have ongoing webinars also at 1:30 on Wednesdays. That's Pacific time. So I hope to see you there. See you guys. Bye-bye.